Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I am your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father. You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour, and I've got you another awesome interview coming up with you guys right now. I have none other than Eron from Hawthorne Heights. Eron, how's it going, man?
It's going great, man. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad you could take time and do the show with me. I tell you what, you're going to laugh at me, but I have been a big fan of you guys since the Silence and Black and White CD, so that's a way back then CD, so...
Awesome. Well, we appreciate your loyalty. It means a lot.
That CD really got me hooked on you guys, and you guys have a new CD out called Zero. Let's talk about that CD.
Okay.
This CD Zero, what are we expecting from this CD from you guys? Because I know it's been out for a couple months, but so far, how's the reaction from the fans and everything like that?
To the fans that have trusted us and gone out and bought it, the reception has been amazing. Musically, it's kind of a cross stylistically between If Only You Were Lonely, our second album, and perhaps our last full-length, Skeletons. Sort of falls within that realm. Real big choruses, but also a lot more aggression in some of the songs than we've had in a while. So it's been going great. I don't know. We played a few songs on Warped Tour this summer, and sometimes those new songs would get every bit as good of a response as our old songs, which was really encouraging for us because, you know, as an artist, when you go out there and you put yourself out there, you try to create something new and exciting for people, and for them to come back and have a kind of tepid response is kind of demoralizing, but it's been anything but. You know, we've had some amazing circle pits and sing-alongs to the new songs, so it's been really encouraging.
The new CD Zero, when you guys are out there playing some songs from it, what are some of your favorite songs off this CD to play?
Well, so far we've only played a few songs, but I would say at the moment my favorite is Memories of Misery, which is basically the first full song on the album, and it's just a lot of fun. Every time we play that, we have a huge circle pit going, and people really get into it. Beyond that, I think we've played the last song on the album, Taken by the Dark. It has a really, really cool, heavy breakdown, probably one of our coolest breakdowns that we've ever done. And, again, gets an amazing response, people losing their minds over it. So I would like to, get out there and play a few more of the songs, but we'll see. I mean, the album's only a couple months old right now, so we're gonna be playing these songs for a little bit longer, I imagine.
The writing process with you guys, do you all contribute, or how do you guys work that out?
Yeah, everybody contributes. I would say typically somebody will bring an idea to the table. It might be just a riff for a verse, or it might just be a chorus. And then we'll all sort of put our 2 cents in and hammer it out to the point that everybody's happy, and then JT usually writes the lyrics last. Sometimes he'll come to the table with a more fleshed out idea, which is fine, and then we'll still do our thing to it and make it a Hawthorne Heights song. But that's typically how the writing process goes, and it sort of goes in stages. We typically like to demo the songs, sit on them for a little while and listen to them, and then come back to them with fresh ears and then make any necessary adjustments from there.
Since you guys are from Ohio, I just want to ask you this. Do you guys get a lot of support from Ohio now since all this has took place and then you guys are put on the map for music? I mean, how's it like for you guys now and plus the scene back in the day?
Well, all right, let's see. Yeah, we do get a lot of support from fans from Ohio, which is awesome. It's super encouraging. It's almost like anytime we play in Ohio, it's a homecoming show, which is really exciting. Back in the day, for us, we primarily played like small little rental halls, like more DIY places where, particularly in Dayton, there was a Knights of Columbus hall that we would even throw shows at, and we would trade shows with touring bands that were coming through from various places and say, all right, well, you put us on a show in your town, we'll put you on the show in this town. And it was great because you really had a scene back then. It was, no matter who was playing, you would have several hundred kids show up to these shows just to listen to music, hang out, and have fun. And it wasn't so much about what this person was wearing or what that band sounded like. Like, people just wanted to go out and hear new music. And you would have lineups of bands that, were really varied. You might have a real metal band mixed with a really, really, sappy, light emo band. it was cool because everybody sort of accepted it, and it was just a really fun environment to be a part of and grow up in.
Since it's the digital age these days, Eron, do you think it's really hurt shows somewhat of local kids coming out and checking out the bands and everything, since they can get everything pretty much at their fingertips at the computer and YouTube? I mean, do you think it's hurt some?
In some areas, I think it has. I think really what's hurt the scene is that there's so many more bands nowadays that are all sort of fighting for the listeners' dwindling dollars. And, I think that's a bigger part of it, is the fact that people just financially can't afford to support bands like they used to.
Right.
And it's sad. It's not like a commentary on digital downloading or anything like that. It's just people can't afford to go to shows like they used to, and I think that's why you've seen in many areas scenes sort of dissolve and go the way of the dinosaur. I say in some areas because there's a lot of areas, there's pockets throughout the country where you still have these scenes, and sometimes they're a little bit more remote, but when you go play these places, they're way more appreciative of a band going out of their way to come to, an E-rated market or something, but right. People are really excited, and you get that sort of sense and nostalgia that for the shows that we grew up going to and were a part of from the beginning.
This is the first time I've asked this question, and I'm glad you mentioned that, but do you think that a band can actually tour a certain location too many times to where it's like, they'll be back? You know what I mean? And
absolutely. Absolutely. Without question. I mean, if you play the same town over and over and over again, you will see diminishing returns eventually. We've definitely oversaturated ourselves in markets out there. And as a result, there are places that we don't go as much anymore. Or, we'll wait a couple of years in between before we go back. Because it's just, there's no incentive for somebody to really go out of their way to go see your show when they know you're going to be back through in a month. Mm-hmm. And this is sort of one of the things that we experienced with going overseas, over to Europe. There was about a 6-year drought there where we weren't able to go overseas because of a lot of our legal issues and then losing Casey. We just simply couldn't afford to travel abroad. Well, a few years ago, we made a point to get back overseas and develop those markets as much as we possibly could. And there were people that were just really, really rabid and excited, enthusiastic about us playing there because they hadn't seen us in so long. Mm-hmm. I guess, what is it? What's the phrase? Distance makes the heart grow fonder or something along those lines. I really think that holds true.
What can fans expect at a Hawthorne Heights show from you guys?
I would say primarily we're going to play, the bulk of our set is going to be our older material, because we understand that that's what our fans really want to hear, and they're the ones that are supporting us and have been so kind to us over the years. So we want to do as much as we can to give back to them and put on an entertaining show and play songs that they really like. We're also going to throw in a couple of new songs because as artists we don't want to get tired of performing. We need to keep our own sanity and play some of these new songs. So people can expect a really, really varied set list. Oftentimes we don't play the same set 2 nights in a row. We have so many albums now that we really can take our time and sort of pick through a lot of different songs that we don't normally get to play every night, which is exciting for us because it keeps, like I said, it keeps it fresh. Beyond that, it's going to be a high-intensity show. We always encourage the fan to sing along, stage dive, crowd surf, mosh, whatever. Just have fun is the primary thing that we're looking for. And the more the crowd has fun, the more we have fun.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And when the fans leave from that show, what do you want them to remember?
I want them to say that this was the best rock show they've ever seen. Maybe it sounds a little arrogant or whatnot, but I want to really impress upon the viewer, the fan, that they had the time of their life. And I want to form a memory that they will never forget.
Now, I don't think that's arrogant at all, because if you're a band, that's what you want. That when that person leaves, you want them to say, "Wow, we got to go see them guys again."
Yeah, exactly.
I know you guys lost Casey, and he was a big part of you of this band. The new guy that's with you guys, what does he bring to Hawthorne Heights now?
Marc is a longtime friend of ours. He was playing in bands in and around Dayton for many years. I mean, he was playing in bands. When we first started, we played shows with his band. His band was called The Story Changes, and before that, they were called Rod. And Marc's a great guy. He's just a really easygoing individual. He's a great guitarist, super solid. I think he makes us sound so much tighter, not to knock Casey or anything, but I think we're incredibly tight performers now, and I owe a significant portion to that to Marc. Me and him lock in really, really well when we play, and it just makes a lot of fun.
I said that if I ever got a chance to interview you guys, that really sucked about losing him. I've been a fan of you guys for a long time, and I thought to myself, oh no, I mean, are they going to try to continue? Because when that happens, man, that's devastating. I mean, you're stuck in a road because you don't know what to do.
It was incredibly devastating to us, and I don't think we really let on to the public how devastating it really was to us emotionally. Yeah. But it was pretty rough. In conjunction with losing Casey, we were also dealing with our legal battle with Victory, and it was just a really, really dark period for us. And I think the only reason we continued on was because of fan support. And without that, I don't think we would have been able to keep doing what we do. But we have a lot of really, really loyal fans, and it almost felt like we would be doing some kind of like disservice to the fan community by breaking up at that point. And so here we are today.
I'm glad you guys are still together.
Thank you.
I love the music. I can't say that enough, and I try to play as much of your music on here as I can. And
thank you.
I've always said this. I've said this in every interview. This show is designed for locals, nationals. I hope I do some little part to get everybody's music out there to do something for them.
That's great. Yeah, we appreciate it.
How does it feel when you guys get emails, and plus you have the fans come up to you and say, hey, I was in a dark hole at this point, and this song really brought me out of it. This song really helped me through this time. As a musician, how does that help you guys out?
I think it's one of the highest compliments that we can ever receive, and easily our greatest achievement is having a positive impact on other people's lives out there. I think we've done some amazing things. We've been on TV, we've headlined festivals, we've traveled the world and all that stuff, but really to have somebody come to you and say, and open their heart to you and say, you saved me. I think there's nothing more powerful in the world. So, we absolutely love it, and I wish we could do that for even more people.
Do you guys prefer clubs, Eron, or does it matter? Festivals? What's your favorite places?
I guess it depends on the scenario, because we've had amazing shows at all levels of our career. Mm-hmm. There's something to be said about walking out onto an arena stage to a sold-out arena. That's a really, really powerful experience, one that I can't even explain. I got chills the first time we did it. And we've also played tiny places that should legally only hold 100 people, but there's 300 people crammed in, and it was the most energetic show of our life.
Yeah, that's awesome. And speaking of that, I know you're behind the kit and everything, but when you're hearing the fans singing music and you see them just going just absolutely crazy, man, how does that feel to you guys?
That feels great. It just makes you want to play that much harder and play a little bit longer. It's awesome.
Now, you guys are getting ready to kick up the tour again on December the 7th. That's in Michigan. And what can we expect in 2014? You guys got any new plans for 2014 to tour anymore, like overseas or anything? What's coming up possibly?
We have a lot of things in the plans for next year. 2010 or 2014 is obviously the 10-year anniversary of our first album coming out, and we want to do something special. Everybody sort of does these 10-year tours, but we want to do something above and beyond what everybody else is doing and really make it about the fans and right. Sort of, just engage them a little bit more than I see a lot of other bands doing. So we'll see. We don't have anything firmly on the books at the moment, but we have a lot of theoretical plans. If this thing happens, then we're going to do this. And if this other thing happens, then we'll do this. One thing I can say is right now on our web store, I don't like to be the salesman, but we're selling a package in our holiday packages where people can watch us play Silence in Black and White in its entirety acoustic. And that's sort of the first thing that we've got planned for next year.
Yeah, I was actually on your website, and I was seeing that you guys had an exclusive holiday packages that you can go and choose from. I think this is really cool because you guys have some really cool stuff on here that people can choose from.
Yeah, we tried to, give everybody an option, no matter, different costs or what the cost is, just something for everyone, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely, man. Is there any new bands that you're listening to that's really caught your eye that said, hey, I really like this band?
I wouldn't say new. They've been around for a couple of years now, but there's a band called Balance and Composure, and they're really exciting to watch because they give me faith in music. And actually another band called The Feeder as well. They just sort of bring passion back to music. They're more both underground-ish type bands at the moment, and they just, I don't know, to me exude a lot of the principles and sound that I grew up listening to. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's really exciting to see other bands playing that kind of music again.
What does Hawthorne Heights bring to music?
I don't know. I guess that's something I don't think I can answer. I think that's something that the fans at the end of the day will have to dictate.
Eron, I want to thank you so much for taking time out to do this interview with me. And
no problem. Thanks, John.
Like I said, man, I'm so glad that you guys stayed together since Casey's passing. And, you guys kind of reminded me of Metallica, like the whole Cliff Burton ordeal. But it's cool that you guys stuck around and still going forth with it. Can you tell the fans, and especially the ones that are listening out there right now, how to get a hold of you guys if they want to get your merch or say hi to you all?
Yeah, well, obviously there's our website, which is hawthorneheights.com. And then you can find us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/Hawthorne Heights. You can find us on Twitter. That's a little different. It's Hawthorne HGTS. Hawthorne Heights was too long. And then there's Instagram, which is the same handle. It's Hawthorne HGTS. So get a hold of us on any of those networks. We check and run everything. So if you send us a message on there, chances are we will read it. Sometimes we get inundated with messages, and we do our best, but we will at least see it at some point.
Eron, would you care to do a promo for the show before I let you go?
Sure, yeah. Okay, sure. Hey, what's up? This is Eron from Hawthorne Heights, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some Hawthorne Heights coming up. Give these guys a chance. You haven't listened to them. I promise you won't be disappointed. I want to thank Eron from Hawthorne Heights for being on the show. You only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. Thanks, Eron.
Thanks, John.
Now you're the gold.